My next guest, well, he's no stranger to political controversy, that's for sure. Former MP George Galloway, hardly alone now in calling for voters to turn away from the Uniparty and vote for anyone other than Labour or the Tories. George joins me now, I hope, to talk about all of that and more. Good evening, George. Thanks for joining me.
Welcome, always.
George, this sounds like it could be a year like no other. Something unprecedented lies ahead. You know, we've got 40 elections around the world, half the world's population. What do you prognosticate and prophesy about what could and should lie ahead?
Well, 1848 was the year of revolutions. 2024 is the year of elections. But if the election is carefully rigged between Tweedledum and Tweedledee, or in the phrase that I gave birth to a decade or two ago, two cheeks of the same backside, of what use are elections? Your American guest was shilling for Ron DeSantis. What's the difference between Joe Biden and Ron DeSantis? Absolutely no difference at all. What's the difference between Rishi Sunak and Sir Keir Starmer? They're all Blairites now. Blair has become the hegemonic force in British and indeed international politics. Woke and liberal at home and imperialist and waging war abroad. That's the choice that we face. And so in a polity in which there is a uniparty, there is no real choice. What is the electorate supposed to do? Some of us in small parties will be trying to offer a choice. I hope to run for Mayor of London. As you know, that would certainly be a choice between me and little Sadiq Khan. But inevitably, there will be probably the great majority of constituencies in Britain where there is no real choice, in which case I say stay at home or go and spoil your ballot paper. Declare that none of the above are good enough for you. And if the choice in America is, as I just indicated, if Donald Trump is shanghaied out of the process, made illegal, even put in jail, that's what American people should be doing also.
Are we holding our breath in a sense? You know, will what happens in America, whatever happens in America, dictate something profound about the future that lies ahead?
Well, I think we've become more or less one country, Neil. The great Oscar Wilde, one of our greatest, said we were two countries divided by a common language. Actually, I think we are increasingly one country. There's no doubt where the head of that new body is, but we are effectively enthralled to the United States. And all of their woke liberalism is now our woke liberalism. I saw it coming. I'm so old, I saw it crossing the Atlantic. The Californication of British politics came from California, came from the United States. And in terms of the war in Ukraine, the war in Gaza, the attitude towards China, all manner of international issues, our positions are identical. Now, I put it before, it's one thing to be a vassal to, you know, Jack Kennedy, or even Bill Clinton, let's be fair. But when you're a vassal to Joe Biden, inches from idiocy, a man who doesn't know where he is or what day of the week it is, when you're taking orders from him, my God, you've come down in the world.
Do you believe in your heart that meaningful change is still allowed? Will the powers that be, the incumbents, allow, if the people demand change, will that be made manifest?
Well, I did for many decades of my life, almost 3 of which I spent in Parliament. I must say I'm losing a very great deal of faith in that. I'm leaning towards the old slogan, if voting changed anything, they wouldn't allow you to do it. We used to believe in our country that we had freedom of speech until it was taken away from us. I have to, I think, lean towards the view that they'll only allow you to vote as long as the parameters involved in the choice, the dichotomy, is so narrow that it will make no meaningful difference. And I didn't use the 1848 year of revolutions analogy lightly. I believe that Britain, I can't speak for any other country, but Britain needs revolutionary change. It needs complete change. Virtually everything about our country now, apart from the people, are rotten. All the institutions we believed in, the police, the civil service, the BBC, the law, all of the parliament, the monarchy, all these things are hollowed out where they are not completely rotten. I would once, with my first children, I would once have said, if you're in trouble, in any kind of trouble, ask a policeman. Well, I wouldn't do that now over the experience of previous years. I would have once said, and my father went to his grave believing, that if you heard something on the BBC, whether or not it was politically nuanced, it would be as close to the truth as you'll find in any news media in the world. That would be a laughable claim to make nowadays. So I'm thinking that we need more than a choice between Sunak and Starmer if we're going to get out of this hole that our leaders have dug for us.
Absolutely, George. George, you've been saying the things that need to be said for as long as I can remember. Keep doing so. It's been a pleasure to have your cogent argument on the show tonight. Thanks very much. We'll speak again soon, I hope.